Hey guys, Travis Gillespie. In the last few sections, we've been dealing with what functions are. Now we're going to get into linear functions. And linear functions, they really aren't a big deal. If you see that the graph of a function is a straight line, then you know the function's linear. I'm going to throw a few examples up here, and then all you're really going to do is ask, hey, one, is it a function? And then the second, well, is it a linear function? Or in other terms, is this function linear? Well, let's think about that for a second. What does that really mean? Well, it means for each x value, well, there's only one y value. For each x value on the graph, you'll only cross it with one y value. There's no crossover. There's no loops on this graph. For each point in the domain, which are those x values, there's only one point in the range, which are those y values. So for every point in this domain, there actually is only one point in the range that pairs up with it. So yeah, absolutely. This is, I'm going to change the brush here. Yep, absolutely, this is a function. But is it a linear function? Well, look, if you actually look at it, it's a straight line. Linear mean it's pretty much a straight line. Linear function meaning, yeah, hey, we're looking for straight lines. Is this a straight line? Absolutely. Therefore, it is not only a function, it is a linear function. Cool. Let's look at another one. Well, let's see if I can make this one a little bit trickier. I'm going to scroll down the page before I throw that one back on. Cool. Well, sure, at first this might trick you, or actually it might even not seem that tricky to some. But the first question is, hey, is this a function? For every point in the domain, is there only one point that pairs with it in the range? So ask yourself or notice that any point in this domain, it is only crossed by one y value. I'm going to erase that. So any vertical line will cross the graph at exactly one point. So absolutely, sure, this is a function. For any point that I pick in the x value, it really only crosses along the curve at one point for the y, the range. Now the next big question, well, if it's a function, is it a linear function? Well, does, honestly, this curve look like a line to you? No, not at all. So therefore, it is not a linear function. So we'll just put an X right there. No, it's not a linear function, but yeah, it is a function. Well, let's take a look at one more here. Let's look at this vertical line. And the question you want to ask yourself for every point in the domain, well, x looks like in the domain it always equals -2. Is there only one point in the range that is connected or paired with that range or with that domain value? So for every point in the for every x value, is there only one y value? Well, no, there's multiple y values for -2. Therefore, it is not a function. Well, since this is not a function, therefore it cannot be a linear function. Although this looks like a line, and it is a line, vertical lines, you'll remember that vertical lines are not functions. Tricky, but challenging.